Listen to me. 99% of agency owners, coaches, and consultants go the wrong way about choosing their niche, choosing their market. And frankly, if you don't choose the right market for your specific business and for your skill set, then you're pretty much dead. Like you're gonna struggle to get clients, you're gonna struggle to find your clients, you're gonna start to scale the business, and everything falls apart. So the niche that you choose is the most important thing in your business. And in this video, I'm just gonna explain exactly how to choose the best niche for you specifically, what are the best niches to get into in 2025, and eventually how to choose the right niche so that they can scale to 100K per month and beyond. So let's get into it. First of all, you need to understand where you are at right now. So obviously, there are three main scenarios. First of all, if you have worked with multiple different clients with different problems from different industries, right, from different niches, and you're not really sure of how to narrow it down or on what niche to focus on. Okay, so you've had a bunch of different clients, right, from all over the place, and you're really not sure like on which industry, which niche to focus on. Okay, so this is the first scenario. The second scenario, you haven't worked with any clients in the past, but you do have a very specific skill set, you have a specific problem that you can solve, right? You have the expertise, but you just don't know exactly what market to go after, right? So for example, let's just say that you're super good at fixing gut health issues. Okay, so you are pretty much like a gut health expert, but you're not sure as to like what is your niche, okay, or what niche to focus on. Or on the other hand, like you're very good at Facebook ads, so you just are very good at running Facebook ads, but you don't know again on what niche to focus on. Okay, you have probably a few different options, but you don't know exactly which one to go with. So this is the second scenario. Okay, the third scenario. Okay, is if you haven't worked with any clients in the past, okay, you're not sure about what skills you have that you can monetize, and you don't really even know where to start. Okay, so you're pretty much maybe like you're brand new or something like that. You just started your business, or maybe you do have a vague idea about what you want to do, but things are unclear. Okay, so you haven't had clients in the past, you're not really sure about what you want to do. Maybe you have a few ideas here and there, but again, it's just kind of hard for you to pick a market. Okay, and I'm gonna help you out with all of these scenarios. I'm gonna tell you exactly how to find the best niches for you. Okay, so let's cover the first case scenario if you've already worked with multiple different clients in the past. Okay, so in this case, it's super simple. You're just going to use the client scoring spreadsheet. Okay, so if you've already worked with multiple clients in the past, again from different industries, with different problems, they have different goals and stuff like that, but you kind of find it hard to just focus on one person with one problem and help them in one way, you are going to use this spreadsheet right here. So what you're going to do with this spreadsheet and how to use it and what it really is a spreadsheet where you are going to list all of the past clients that you have had. Okay, and you are going to rank them from best clients, okay, which you're going to put all of them in this green section right here. Here in the yellow section, you are going to have meh clients, and right here in this obviously red section, you're going to have the hell clients. So obviously here you're going to have your best clients. Here you're going to have kind of like, kind of good clients, but also at the same time, a little bit bad. And these are going to be your worst clients. Okay, and how you're going to score them is, first of all, you are going to start obviously with client name. It's just easier to organize them this way. Then you are going to state what problem or desired result they had. Okay, so this way you have more context. So for example, they wanted to lose 20 pounds, or they wanted to scale to 100K per month, or whatever the problem slash result was, okay, for them specifically. So you're going to complete it for every single client. Obviously, one row for one client essentially. So this is how it works. Then the sub-market, right, which is exactly the sub niche, let's say the specific niche where they were in. So for example, if you've worked here with a martial arts studio, then obviously you're going to put in like whatever jiu-jitsu gym or something like that. Here, if you work with a lawyer, you're going to say like whatever personal injury lawyer or something like that, or whatever, and you do get the point. So obviously here you're going to put in the exact niche where they're from. Then you're going to get into pros and cons, like what were the pros of working with them. Maybe it was very easy for you to work with them. Maybe they got amazing results because they were open-minded, they were doing everything on time, so they were just a very good client, right? So obviously here you are going to put in all the pros of working with them. Then here in this column, you're going to put all the cons of working with them, and obviously how much did you enjoy working with them from a scale of 1 to 10, and how good were the results, obviously from a scale of 1 to 10 as well. So this way you are going to score all of the clients that you've had in the past, okay, from best to worst. And then after that, you're going to be able to analyze the data. So when you're going to analyze the data, there are most probably multiple scenarios. Like, first of all, maybe you see that the majority of your best clients are, for example, from a specific industry, from a specific niche, or they have like a specific problem. Okay, so let's just say that, 80% of your best clients are actually lawyers. Okay, just a random example. So that means that most likely your best niche is going to be lawyers, because it seems like you're getting the best results with them. You find it the easiest to work with them, and you just have a blast whenever you're working with lawyers. So if that's the case, if you see the patterns and you clearly see that your best clients are lawyers, there you go. You have your answer. The best niche that you should be getting into is lawyers, or the best niche that you should be focusing on, rather, right? And at the same time, on the other hand, like if you see patterns for like health clients, like you see that all of your health clients are from like a specific industry, or again, all of your health clients have a specific problem, then you know what to avoid. Super simple, right? So again, when you complete the data, you might see patterns. If that's the case, then there you go. You have your answer. You're just gonna go with what the patterns are for the best clients, because that's a clear sign that you should be working with those people, with more of those people, right? Because things are going well. Now, if you don't see any patterns, for example, just looking at your best clients, the data is still all over the place. Like you see that you've had a lawyer, you've had a CEO, an executive, and so on. And again, the data is still like scattered, is all over the place. Then it's super simple. You have multiple different options here in front of you of your best clients, and you just need to pick one niche. That's it. Like, you literally need to pick one client. So for example, if we had here lawyer, CEO, agency owner, whatever, then you just have to pick one, and that's it. Like, just literally one person. So obviously you're going to decide this based on multiple different factors that I'm going to cover later in this video in just a few minutes, just so you can understand how to strategically pick the best market. But you have your potential niches right here, and obviously stick to the end of the video, because I'm going to explain exactly how to strategically choose the best one. Okay, but again, you are going to use the spreadsheet, and this spreadsheet is going to give you a lot of clarity if you've worked with multiple different clients in the past from different niches, but you're not sure on what to focus on, okay? But obviously, if it's super clear for you, right, when you're taking a look at your best clients and you're like, damn, I really want to work with this type of client, then go for it. You just found your niche, okay? But again, it's either the patterns, okay, like you just see patterns, or you have multiple different options in front of you on what to narrow down based on your best clients, and then you just have to pick one of them, and that's it. Strategically pick one of them, okay? And we're going to talk about how to do that. So this is the first case scenario, right? A second case scenario is if you haven't had clients before, but you know what skill set you have and what problem you want to solve and problem you can solve, okay? So essentially you have an ability to solve a specific problem, but you haven't had clients in the past, so you're not really sure as to like, okay, what niche do I need to get into? So in this case, you're going to use another spreadsheet, which I like to call the problem niche scoring sheet. So the first column is similar. You're going to complete this literally the same way as you do with the other spreadsheet that I've shown you. So here you're going to list out all of the markets that you're considering getting into. Again, you're going to have multiple different options based on the problem that you solve, or you are going to list all of the problems that you're considering solving. Okay, so for example, you're thinking about, okay, well, I want to work with lawyers, CEOs, agency owners, coaches, whatever it is. Okay, so you can list down all of the potential markets that you want to work with. Or if you have a specific skill set like a problem, then you can list out all of the problems that you can solve. For example, gut health related issues, meditation related issues, I have no idea, losing weight. Okay, so all of the different, let's say, life problems that you can solve, you are going to list them down, okay, along with the different markets. Now, next thing is we're going to analyze how many potential clients, or how many potential clients are there in the US in this market, because here we want to make sure that we have enough market, like the market is big enough. Essentially, you want it to be like above 30K in the US, so above 30,000 potential clients in the US. And if that's the case, then your market is big enough. There you go. But obviously, if you're thinking about a niche where there are less than 30,000 people in the US, that's a red flag. That's just, the niche is essentially too small. And by the way, you can research all this data by just simply using ChatGPT. Super simple. Okay. Now, what you're going to do next is you're going to list out all the pros and the cons for this niche slash problem. Same way we did with the other spreadsheet, cons and additional notes. So as you can see right here, right, I'm putting here just with an example, law firm owners. Okay. A lot of them in the US, that's fine. Pros and cons for this niche. This can also be based on yourself. Like, what is your personal experience? For example, like if you've been a lawyer for like 10 plus years or like 20 plus years, and you have different options right here, and one of them is lawyers, then obviously you will naturally have an advantage because you've been a lawyer for 20 years. You're naturally going to have an advantage in the lawyer niche. Okay. Now, again, there are going to be cons and pros for every single niche. The cons specifically with this example for law firm owners is the fact that it's very hard to get in touch with them. They're quite busy, quite skeptical, so you might have a hard time to get them booked on a call and sell to them. Okay. And obviously additional notes, kind of like what you know about the industry. Okay. So again, you start from the potential niches that you're thinking about getting into, or about the problems that you can solve with your current skill set, your current experience, and stuff like that. Okay. And based on this, you just want to compare all of the different options that you have, pros, cons, and stuff like that, and also using the filters that I'm going to be giving you in just a minute to decide which is going to be the best option for you. And this is how you're going to be able to pick the best market for you specifically. Okay. So again, this is when you really haven't worked with any clients in the past, but you do have a skill set, you do have a specific problem that you can solve, and you just need to figure out, okay, what markets need my help. Now, let's talk about the potential ways in which you can niche down, because really, like, a niche can be two things. So number one can be based on the problem, which not a lot of people talk about this, but honestly, like, for example, if you are a gut health specialist, right, just continue with that example, then you can narrow down based on the niche of people struggling with gut health issues. So a niche isn't necessarily just a title like agency owners, coaches, consultants, lawyers, or stuff like that. Okay. A niche can also be a pocket of people dealing with the same problem. Okay. So regardless of what industry or what title or what job they have or how much money they make. Okay. So number one, based on the problem. Okay. This is again a type of niche. Now, the second way to really narrow down is obviously by the niche, or like by the title, where again, you just specifically work with, CEOs, lawyers, or coaches, or whatever it is. This is based on the industry. Now, what you need to understand about this is that, if you do decide to work by the niche, you're going to want to focus on the niche and really build your offer around what the niche needs. Okay. So for example, if you're going to decide that, hey, I want to work with lawyers, then what you need to do is you need to build your offer around the market. Okay. Essentially, you need to take a look at them, kind of reverse engineer, go talk to a lot of lawyers, see exactly what their problem is, what do they need, right? What do they want? And do a little bit of market research. And then after that, you're going to build your offer around the lawyers, okay? Around what they need. So essentially, if you're going to focus on the industry, you need to, kind of like form your offer, mold your offer around the market. This is how you do it, but we're not going to get into that in this video. It's just a side note. And obviously, if it's going to be based on a problem, obviously you need to specialize in that problem and just really, dial in your skill set in terms of like solving that specific problem. Okay, so these are the examples, okay, the two different ways in which you can niche down. Now, let's talk about the filters, how to make sure that you're actually picking the right market, because frankly, choosing the right niche is not about what's the shiny object in 2025, like is it e-com, is it agencies, is it SaaS? None of that matters. I promise you, don't listen to people on YouTube like me, right, who are trying to tell you that, hey, the best niche in 2025 is lawyers or whatever it is. Okay, that is BS. Okay, because it's not based on any fundamental. You're gonna still struggle in that niche. Like, even if it's a shiny niche that sounds good, you're still gonna struggle. So I'm gonna explain how to actually pick the right market and how to make the right decision when picking the right niche or market. Okay, so first of all, where can you provide the most value? By solving the problem that you're specialized in. This is the most important, because if right now you have, let's say, you're very good at going to the gym, you're very good at, losing weight, at staying in shape and stuff like that. So you have a natural skill set around, being in shape, whatever, working out, stuff like that. And you watch a guru on YouTube and they tell you, hey, the best niche to get into in 2025 is lawyers. Then it's kind of like, it's kind of killing you. You're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because you have no skill set with lawyers, you have zero experience working with lawyers, you have no idea about what lawyers need and how the business model really works and how they think. So you're really going to struggle a lot, and it's really probably going to take you like 2 years or like 1 year until you're really going to dial in that offer, and until you're really going to be able to crack that market. And it's just going to be super hard. You're making it harder for yourself. But instead, for example, if you're really good at just staying in shape, whatever, eating clean, let's just say that you're naturally good at helping people get in shape, building muscle, then naturally you're going to have an advantage to solve that problem. So obviously, if you're going to decide to go in that specific niche, like helping people, whatever, build muscle or whatever it is, then you're going to get clients a lot faster. You might get clients in the first month. But, if you're just going to listen to someone who's telling you, hey, get into that niche, again, you're shooting yourself in the foot, because it might take you a year or even two, because that market is going to become even more saturated. So the worst decision that you can make is, just listen to a YouTube video, just take a look at a list of like the best Chinese niches and try to get into that. No, you need to start with where can you provide the most value, because this is going to massively speed up the process of you getting clients and scaling the business. So this is number one. Where do you have an advantage? Okay, again, if you have been a lawyer for 10 years, okay, and now you quit your job and you want to start a business or an agency or whatever, obviously you're naturally going to have an advantage in the lawyer niche. So don't listen to other people telling you that e-com is going to be hot in 2025 and try to go to do that. That's bullshit, right? You need to go and work with lawyers, because you'll naturally have an advantage there. You understand their problem, you understand how they think about, and you're going to be doing well. Now, obviously, if you don't want to work with lawyers, for example, or you don't want to work with a specific niche, that is fine, but you need to look at your skill set and see what are the best options that you have, okay? On what industries, what niches essentially need your help the most, okay? If you're very good at leadership skills, okay, stuff like that, then think about, okay, what are the types of businesses or individuals who absolutely need help with leadership very bad, okay? And next thing that you need to be thinking about is your market growing, okay? If it's neutral, it's fine, okay? If it's not growing, if it's stagnant, it's fine. If it's shrinking, that's a red flag. For example, you don't want to get into like shrinking industries, like whatever, newspaper industries, because obviously this market is shrinking, is not growing. So I wouldn't get into a market that's shrinking. That's really like the rule of thumb. As long as like the market is either stagnant or growing, you're gonna be good. Next thing is your market easy to find? Okay, so yeah, for example, if you choose to work with billionaires, right? Just a random example, like your niche is billionaires, then it's going to be pretty hard for you to get in touch with those people, right? It's going to be pretty hard for you to find them. I mean, it might be relatively easy to find them, but you're going to have a hard time getting in touch with them and talking to them. So how easy is your market to find? Can you easily identify them online? For example, very easy markets to get into in terms of being able to find them is coaches, because they are out there advertising themselves online. So it's super easy for you to find them. It's same with real estate agents. They are out there advertising themselves. So naturally it's going to be super easy to find them. Okay. Well, this is what you need to be thinking about. Like, is it genuinely easy for you to find your people from your market? If not, if it's like super hard, I mean, if it's really hard for you to find them, that's a disadvantage. That's a red flag, okay? Because you're going to be struggling to generate leads, generate book calls, and if it's not easy for you to find them, then client acquisition might be a little bit difficult, and appointment booking might be a little bit difficult as well. Next one is your market easy to get a hold of. Lawyers example, right? With lawyers, for example, like it's relatively easy to find them online, okay? But it's kind of hard to get a hold of them because they're super busy, and they have a lot of gatekeepers, so it's kind of hard to get a hold of them, okay? Next one, is it relatively easy to convert your market into clients, right? Think about the sales cycle. Is it easy for you to work with them? So again, another example that I can give you here is with corporate companies or, like big companies, well, the sales cycle for these companies is going to be super long. It's probably going to take you 5 months until you get approval from all the different, whatever sectors from the business, from all the different departments. It's going to take you 5 months until you land a client. And because the sales cycle takes 5 months, and that means that might not be the best niche for you to get into. Okay, so again, another thing to think about, is it relatively easy to convert your clients? Okay, or you have to jump through a lot of hoops, and in the end the deal might fall off anyways. Okay, that's another thing, another sign to think about. Next one, is there a clear big problem that your market has? Do they have a neck bleeding problem? Okay, because listen, if there's no problem, there is no sale. So if you're trying to get into a market and you're trying to solve a problem that they don't really have, or that problem is not that pressing, like they don't really need help that bad with solving the problem that you want to solve, then that's a red flag, because you're going to really struggle to get clients. If they don't have a pressing problem, like a pressing issue, neck bleeding problem, they're not really going to want to talk to you, and they don't really need your help. So think about this. Do they have a massive problem, okay, that you can solve? Because the bigger the problem for them it is, the harder the problem to solve, the easier it's going to be for you to get clients, to get book calls, and really make money with that. Okay, so that's that. Next, purchasing power. Okay, for example, can they actually buy? People without a job, for example, they've been laid off or something like that. It's going to be hard for them to invest in a high ticket offer. Okay, so just think about that. Do they have purchasing power? Do they have the resources generally? Do they have money to invest in a high ticket offer? Okay, think about that. Buying conditions, right? For example, high school students. Again, people who don't have money, might be hard to sell to them, right? For example, high school students, might be hard to sell them a 5K offer. You need to talk to their parents, or look into other options. So that might be quite difficult for you to get clients. And obviously the TAM, which we already talked about. So ultimately, this is literally the niche checklist that you need to be using. Okay, again, it's not about what is the best niche to get into in 2025. It's not about like e-com or agency owners or stuff like that. No, it ultimately boils down to this. So if you just need to think about this, and if you don't have any skill set at the moment, if you just have no idea about the problems that it can solve, right? I mean, you should have at least like an idea or a skill set or something like that. You can also just model other businesses, frankly. Like if you're just starting from complete zero in terms of skill set, knowledge, everything, you can just model other businesses. Like just take a look at other businesses on the market, and if you see a business that you're thinking about, like, oh damn, I really would love to run the type of business, then yeah, absolutely. You can get into their business. You can model other businesses, and I'm telling you, like a lot of the 8-figure gurus that you're seeing right now, like the biggest whatever marketing gurus that you're seeing right now, they have started their business by modeling other successful businesses. So if you're just really struggling to find a problem that you can solve, a market you can solve, you can really look around, see if there's any business that you would like to have that you can model, or at least use this checklist. Think about, okay, what are the potential problems that I can solve? What are the potential, niches that I would like to get into based on my life, based on my experiences, based on the experiences that I've had so far. And I guarantee you that you are going to find a niche. It's literally impossible to not find a niche like this. Okay. You can use ChatGPT to help you out with suggestions. Okay. Honestly, you can just plug in this checklist and say, hey, this is the experience that I have. Like I'm good at this, that. These are the skill sets that I have. And based on this, help, give me different options of the different niches that I can get into. And there you go. You're going to have your different niches. And then you need to do a little bit of research. What are the pros of each niche? What are the cons? How easy is it for you to get a hold of them, and really run this checklist for all of them. And it's going to help you out to choose the best niche. So I promise you, again, it's not about what are the best niches to get into. It's about your skill set, where you can provide the most value, and if the market desperately needs help with the problem that you solve. Okay, so again, you want to make sure that if you're getting into a market, they desperately need help with the problem that you want to solve. Okay, they desperately need you to solve their problem based on the skill set that you have. Okay, because again, if you're trying to go into a market and you're trying to solve a problem that they don't have, or you're trying to solve a problem that is not that big, you're really going to struggle forever. So it's really about that neck bleeding problem and solving a huge problem for the market, like essentially solving the number one biggest problem that the market has. If you're going to do that, you're going to find it super easy to get clients and grow your business. That's it for this video. I hope it was useful. If you are an agency owner, coach, consultant, then I have a pretty cool offer for you that is results based. If you want to see the details, you can check the link in the description down below. It's, I'm just explaining exactly how the offer works, so pretty straightforward. Again, it's results based, so you might love it. Actually, I'm sure about that. And if you enjoyed this video, smash the like button right now, because YouTube is going to show you more videos like this one that are going to help you grow your business. And hit the subscribe button on my channel, because I'm going to be posting more videos like this that are no fluff, straight to the point, going to help you out to grow your business. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Cheers.